Nothing to say.
I'm all ready. I'll call the City of Eden Prairie City Council meeting to order. This is the September 1st, 2020 meeting. If you would all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just give you a little introduction about Open Podium. Open Podium is an opportunity for Eden Prairie residents to address the City Council on issues related to Eden Prairie City government before each council meeting, typically the first and third Tuesday of each month from 6:30 to 6:55 p.m. in the council chamber. If you wish to speak at Open Podium, please contact the City Manager's office at 952-949-8412 by noon of the meeting date with your name, phone number, and subject matter. If time permits, after scheduled speakers are finished, the mayor will open the floor to unscheduled speakers. Open Podium is not recorded or televised. If you have questions about Open Podium, please contact the City Manager's office. All right, we have the approval of the agenda as presented. Can I get a motion for
I move to approve the agenda.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, we have an agenda approved. Minutes. Would someone like to approve the following minutes for the council meeting held on August 18th and the workshop held that same day? Or are there any questions on either of those? Hearing none, I look for a motion.
Move to approve the following City Council minutes: Council workshop held Tuesday, August 18, 2020, and City Council meeting held Tuesday, August 18, 2020.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Consent calendar. We have a huge consent calendar today with items A and B. I think that's the shortest consent calendar I've ever seen in my 16 years on the council. I look for a motion to approve the consent calendar, or if there's any questions or items to pull. All right, and hearing none, I'll look for a motion.
I move to approve of the items A to B on the consent calendar.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. We move on to public hearings and meetings. We have an update on the Aspire Comp Plan Amendment number 2. Mr. Getchow, do you want to start out with that?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Mayor and Council members. So there are two similar items, actually, to update the comprehensive plan, and in one case, the second item, it is an ordinance revision. But we have, you may recall, with our comprehensive plan update that we recently had, we have a few development projects that have occurred, and we have outlots that were dedicated. And now the remaining parcels of property in these different developments, we're asking that the rezoning or the comprehensive guide plan change take effect at those locations. So these really are similar to housekeeping items or when you vacate easements, but obviously a higher level than that when you're looking at a comp plan change or a zoning change. So this first one, and you have to have public hearings on both of these, but this first one, Mayor and Council, deals with the Golden Triangle Industrial Project. There is a 1 acre outlot that the city owns, and now that that project has been approved by you for development, we'd like to go ahead then and have that comprehensive plan update made so that remaining 1 acre can go from industrial flex property to park and open space, because there, as an outlot, as you know, there is no plan for development. It's not part of the development that occurred on the parcel that's adjacent in the Golden Triangle.
All right, council, is there any questions for staff on this motion, on this item? Hearing no questions, I would like to open the public hearing. Is there anyone here in the public that would like to comment or make questions on this proposed amendment? Okay, seeing none, would someone like to make the motion to close the public hearing?
I'll move to close the public hearing and adopt the resolution for guide plan change from industrial flex tech to parks and open space.
I second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving this signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion is approved. All right, so as Rick Getchow mentioned, this next item is pretty similar, but Rick, do you want to give us a little summary?
Sure, I could add as well. So this is the Highland Oaks development project, the single-family residential development project that you approved recently. So there's about just over 2.5 acre outlot that is owned by the city on the northern portion of this development project. Again, not developable property, and to maintain consistency again with adjacent properties and the recent effort that we had to do with our parks and open space rezoning effort, we'd like to re-guide this outlot from low density residential to parks and open space.
Okay, thank you. Council, any questions for Mr. Getchow or staff on this proposed amendment? Hearing none, I would like to open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public that would like to ask questions or comments on this proposed change? All right, I don't see anyone here raising their hand, so would someone like to make the motion?
Move to close the public hearing and adopt the resolution for guide plan change from low-density residential to parks and open space, and approve the first reading of the ordinance for rezoning from R1-9.5 to park and open space on 2.66 acres.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, both of those are approved. Thank you. All right, moving on to payment of claims. Is there anyone that would like to pull any item for questioning, or do you have anything that you'd like to ask staff? I'm hearing none. I would look for a motion.
I move the approval of payment of claim as submitted.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Aye.
Councilmember Narayan.
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Acting Mayor Aho.
Aye. All right, we've approved payment of claims. Thank you. Moving on to the report of the city manager. Mr. Getchow, do you want to talk to us about absentee voting?
Certainly, Mayor and Council. At the last council meeting, Councilmember Nelson asked about kind of process and procedures for absentee voting, and kind of the understanding that it's, the last few years, for sure the last two elections in 16 and 18 with the new state statutes allowing for no excuse early absentee voting, we've seen a huge uptick in the desire of people to quote unquote vote early. And when you put COVID on top of that, and we've seen this in the primary as well, and I can share some of those statistics, that absentee voting plays a huge part in the state of Minnesota on this upcoming election. So just to kind of give an update and just to provide some information that we will make sure that we get out in all of our social media avenues and website and the newspaper to let everybody know that The city and the state of Minnesota and Hennepin County elections officials encourage people to vote by mail and understand that that's a very, very viable option. The majority, almost all of the ballots that were mailed in even the day before the primary on August 11th got to the county, almost every single one of them, by the very next day. And that was the day before the primary. But if you look at the general election, early absentee voting begins on September 18th. And from September 18th until the day you can vote in person on November 3rd, you have an option to vote early absentee. Now there's a period from September 18th through October 27th where you could fill out, register, or if you're registered, fill out your absentee ballot, and it could be mailed. It could be dropped off at the city at any point in time that the city's open. And you can also come in on that period of time after early voting begins to actually, conduct the voting here. It's not until October 27th, from October 27th to November 2nd, that it's a period we call direct balloting, where if you actually come in to vote early during that period of time, your ballot actually gets processed through the machines that are here. So I think it's somewhat of a misnomer. I've seen many people walk into this building in City Hall, 2-3 weeks out and think that they're going to be putting their ballot through a machine at that time. They're not. That's only for that week before. Prior to that time, all those ballots go to Hennepin County. Quite frankly, when all is said and done, every single ballot goes to Hennepin County. We have the machines that send the data immediately to Hennepin County from the votes that come in on that day, but all the ballots go there. So if you drop your ballot in the mail, as I said earlier, in that complete time frame, you can actually track it as well. So if you go to mnvotes.org, similar to a package that you might send, you could track your ballot that you send to see that it was received and logged in. I think there's 2 points in time that there's an entry based on that ballot. So we feel that there's a long period of time here where you can come in to vote absentee, you can mail your ballot, there'll be a period of time and you can vote in person. And as of yesterday, 1/3, almost a third of all eligible voters in Eden Prairie have already applied for an absentee ballot. So our city clerk, would probably say that's, way beyond, any numbers that we've had in the past. So we think, due to COVID, in the period of time that spread out, we may have actually more people voting before Election Day than on Election Day. And an example of that would be the primary. With almost 11,000 or just over 11,000 ballots in Eden Prairie for the primary, over 7,300 of those came in via mail. And as I mentioned, almost every single one of them by the day of the election, even when they were mailed the day before. So again, it's going to be important that we continue to communicate and information on our precincts as well, when it comes to the actual day of voting. But I just wanted to give a quick update on absentee voting and the absentee voting process. The only other thing I'd mention is, and I don't think this is happening in Hennepin County per se, but you may hear about a few cities in Minnesota and other locations that may have boxes or containers that may take ballots. Our county and the county attorney recommends against that, and there's very strict rules on the chain of custody of ballots and the registers and the logs that must be kept. So, we're not advocating, nor are we going to have drop-off locations for ballots, because we think with the many days in advance of the election and the hours that we have at City Hall, and the hours get even increased more as you get closer to Election Day, we think there are many, many opportunities to physically bring a ballot in if you're not going to mail it.
Thank you. Do you want to make a comment about ballots that are mailed in terms of when they are postmarked? So there's been some different rules in different areas, different jurisdictions in terms of when those ballots will be cut off. So in other words, is the state of Minnesota, is Hennepin County going to allow ballots to be postmarked the day of the election and received within like 3 or 4 days after the day of the election?
That's correct, Councilmember Acting Mayor Aho, that I believe I think it might even be up to 7 days after that they would be accepted.
Okay.
Also, I assume when it's early voting or the week before the election, or I know it is on election day, if someone has broken a leg or can't get in physically, 2 election judges will bring a ballot out to them where they can fill it in, and then they'll take, usually a person from each political party goes out, or from 2 different parties at least. And I assume that will take place during the early voting week as well as just at the polls, where someone can send someone in and says they need to have a ballot brought to them.
Yeah, I will verify that with the city clerk, Councilmember Nelson, but I think I would think we would be able to do that as we have always done on election day before. And then I want to mention as well, if people do come to City Hall and even though we're open, they don't want to even come in this building, if you call, we will also have judges go out to your car and take your ballot. And even if, the 1 or 2 days leading up to the election, we might streamline things even more here around City Center for judges accepting ballots in the parking lot as well. But we haven't finalized those plans yet, but we want to make it as seamless as possible. But I would think, as you said, in terms of a medical condition and sending someone out to someone's home, and when we've gone to nursing homes or whatnot, we would continue to do that.
I think a lot of people can get in their cars, so if they could just get to the bottom of the steps, you could deal with them then.
Correct. We would do that as well.
So they still have the option of doing that through mail-in ballot, if they want to. If somebody is disabled, don't want to drive, or don't have the driving capability, then they still can get and started voting from September 18 onward.
Right.
Through the mail-in process.
Through mail-in process.
Right.
Or somebody could bring over the ballot, physically bring over here and drop it off.
Correct. That's
so
correct.
there's a lot of multiple ways that we are accommodating for the residents.
I would say so, yes.
So I think we're really trying to be as accommodating as we can to get all people the opportunity to vote.
Yep.
It's clear. All right, well, thank you for that update, Mr. Getchow. I see we have a report of our Public Works Director, Robert Ellis, tonight. So, Mr. Ellis, you want to come up and tell us about this?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, City Council. So I'm here tonight to talk a little bit about an opportunity for the citizens of Eden Prairie to help advance some of our goals with the Climate Action Plan and waste reduction, to also reduce some of the pressure that we see with our drop-off day event. Hugely popular. Every year we see double-digit increases in tonnage, number of trips coming into the site. But also we'll be offering a new service to the residents of Eden Prairie, and that would be a curbside recycling pickup event. So we've been talking with Certified Recycling. That's the organization that handles our electronics appliance recycling for drop-off day event, and they'd be willing to do a curbside event. So for 2 weeks in October, Monday through Friday, and then again Monday through Friday the following week, residents can take advantage of calling into Certified, scheduling an appointment for a curbside pickup of items like refrigerators, water softeners, air conditioners, riding lawnmowers, snow blowers, tires, electronics, whole host of things, treadmills, a lot of those larger items that are more difficult to dispose of. But if you call them and make a schedule for a pickup appointment, they'll honor the same price that we had for drop-off day. So there is a fee to the resident, $5 for a riding lawnmower, $10 for a refrigerator. We've negotiated some pretty good prices. You pay that fee for the item, and then also a $30 pickup fee. They come to your house, they load it up, haul it off. So instead of you having to go find a trailer, maybe a couple people help you load it in the back of a pickup, driving it down to the drop-off day event, waiting in a long line, they'll now come to you to do that pickup. So that might be helpful for people that maybe don't have the labor to help load up, maybe don't have a trailer or pickup, access to type of vehicle to do that. So be a new opportunity for people to take advantage of that. Again, all these items will be recycled. So it again helps with our climate action plan goals. We're also going to add in mattresses and furniture. So previously for drop-off day, those were going to the landfill. With this event, they'll put it into the recycling, so they'll get the metals out of the mattresses, they'll reuse some of the materials from the couches, the furniture. So again, it goes to a good cause. And I spoke to drop-off day event. This is an event that we, with recyclable materials in particular, we saw about 182% increase in the number of appliances that were dropped off. That's a cash transaction. Takes a lot of time when you have thousands of cars waiting in line. We want to move that out of the drop-off day event. We want the drop-off day event just to be disposal of typical refuse and construction and demolition debris. Move that into the site. We want to take this recycling event and do it on a separate day. So we'll do it this year with the curbside pickup. We might do this again next year, maybe have 2 events a year, kind of see what demand does. But with this, we'll also do a drop-off day event for electronics only. So these will be your TVs, printers, faxes, things like that, coffee pots. People will be able to go up to our new yard waste drop-off site that was built this year, do the drop-off there. You just pay the negotiated price that we've worked out with Certified. Same price as the drop-off day event for those items. But it'll be just electronics up there. We want to edge into this. We don't want this to be so big and popular that we have a traffic jam. So we just want to do electronic drop-off at yard waste, see how that goes. And then if we can add, if we have the capacity to add maybe tires or other items, we'll look at doing that next year. So anyways, no cost to the city for this, other than the labor for us to work the drop-off day event. We'll have some staff up there doing ID checks, doing some traffic routing. Outside of that, Certified, all the payments between the property owner or the resident are worked out with Certified. So the pickup fee if you're doing curbside, plus the fee for the actual recycling of the material. We're looking at the dates of October 5th through October 16th. It's a 2-week period, Monday through Friday, to do the curbside. And then October 17th, which would be a Saturday, would be the electronic drop-offs at the yard waste drop-off site. So anyways, no need for the city council to authorize this agreement because it's, again, a no-cost agreement. The way it would work is we'll do a lot of the publishing, communications, we'll get the word out. Certified will have a website people can go to. You call them, you pick a time, you do the transaction online or ahead of the actual pickup, and then they just come out and fulfill the order.
First, can I just
Go ahead.
want to say thank you.
I think
You don't believe the amount of calls and emails and text all of us received, and I can speak for me. There is a lot of them, and I had so many texts with Mr. Getcho here. And this is a good example of how city reacted to a resident's need. And you guys came up with a great idea. This is awesome. And I'm sure any new idea, there may be some wrinkles, but we are thinking. We keep on thinking, innovating. We're coming up with the new ideas. And I just want to say, Robert and your team, thank you. Thank you. You guys done an awesome job. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it is great. I think it'll be a great service for our residents and gives them a good opportunity to stay within the city, not to have to travel outside, find other places to do this, and it's good for the environment all the way around. So thank you for looking into this and for making it happen. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Robert.
Yes.
Yeah, Brian.
Thank you. Awesome.
All right. Is there any other business to come before the council this evening? Seeing none, I would look for a motion of adjournment.
I'll move to adjourn the city council meeting.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, we are adjourned.